Hi, everybody.
Like we got
Hola, hola.
there we go. Let me tell you, every
Hi,
episode we
everybody.
start off with a bang.
Hola, hola.
All right. Good evening, District 40 Toastmasters and friends. Welcome to our September. Let me tell you, every
Hi,
episode
everybody.
we start off with a bang.
Hola, hola.
All right. Good evening, District 40 Toastmasters and friends. It's always
Someone may have their
I'm
sound
always the
share.
offender. Let me tell you guys something, right? I don't profess to be that savvy when it comes to technology.
Mm,
I
hmm.
don't. But you know what? I laugh my way through it because it
Yes,
happens, right?
that's the way.
It happens when you are doing things live. We make mistakes, we
Hmm.
learn from them. And it's all good because Toastmasters is always the best place to fail your way to success, is what I always say.
Amen.
Well,
Yes.
Althea, you know what? I was just at the public library
Mhm.
today, and someone was trying to figure out some things. And for me, it was second nature as they were kind of moving around,
Yeah.
figuring things out. I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, that's what I do within Toastmasters. So I'm totally with you with the part of figuring it out and
Yes.
just rolling with the punches
Yes.
and
And
laughing your way through because you have to.
that's right. That's right.
Right.
You gotta have a sense of humor, right?
Builds confidence.
Absolutely. Well, welcome again, District 40 members and friends, to our September episode. We are so excited to have you with us this evening. My name is Althea Latang, and joining me as our co-hosts, we have Lamar, Angela, and Sydney, and we are
Mhm.
excited to welcome you
Hola.
to this episode. Yes. I'll go ahead and read our mission statement. And our podcast mission statement is to educate and to entertain our listeners and viewers by providing a positive and supportive, as my co hosts have been supportive with me through my technology issues, a supportive experience to help our listeners and viewers develop stronger communication and leadership skills. I'll go ahead and turn things over to Sydney to cover our word of the day. Sydney, share that with us today.
Thank you, Althea. The word of the day is gobsmacked. And quite frankly, as I often say when setting up Zoom masters calls or other relevant technology functions with as a sergeant at arms or my day job, I'm frankly kind of gobsmacked when things work right. It basically means to be utterly astounded or
Uh-huh.
astonished. Murphy is on everyone's payroll, as I say, and if he's not, you're probably in heaven already, or maybe the second coming of our Lord's come or something. I don't know, but one thing I know is that I'm usually gobsmacked when things go perfectly.
Right.
It is never, as
Yeah.
we just demoed here. It's as we say, we roll our way to success, and as Captain Jean-Luc Picard once said, sometimes you must bow to the absurd. Number one.
Mhm.
Back to you, Althea. Or
Thank you
excuse me.
so much. Yeah, yeah, no, sure, I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah. I agree too. No matter how much I try to prepare, it's inevitable that something is going to go wrong. So like I said, I appreciate you guys always just being patient with me as I navigate technology. But with that, we'll go ahead and we will turn things over to Angela, who is going to introduce our very special guest.
Thank you, Althea. I am excited to announce that we have our District 40 Public Relationships Manager, Miss Deborah Ham, coming on to join us. Excited to learn more about her and her role and everything. Is she?
Go ahead and read her bio. It should be on the
Oh,
rundown.
okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. So Deborah has held so many roles over her more than 12 years with Toastmasters. She's currently, like I said, the District 40 Public Relationships Manager and has held roles over 4 different states, 6 different clubs, everyone with their own distinct personality. She joined Toastmasters, which I want to get into, as a way to help pursue her personal goals and to help her find her voice that she felt was being overlooked, which we heard about Tracy Baker's voice last week. So I'd love to get into Deborah's. And she loves to read, exercise, cook, watch movies. we just learned that she's traveling a lot, and I'm just excited to get to talk to you. She loves meeting new people and encouraging others as well. So I'm excited to talk to you, Miss Deborah Ham.
Hey.
Hey, D40. Hey, podcast team. I'm so honored to be here tonight with you all. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here
joining
with
us.
No problem.
So, Deborah, you said, I'm going to go off script here a little bit, but you said you are currently homeschooling and traveling. How do you fit this into your busy schedule?
Angela, that's a great question. It all fits in. When you're homeschooling, of course, I do Toastmasters. I'm a stay-at-home mom, but the biggest part of that is homeschooling our son. And when my husband, who works full-time outside of the home, gets to travel for business, we get to travel alone. I love to tag along. It gives us the opportunity to explore new places, see new things, see new sights, and learn and explore together, me and my son, and sometimes his dad when he's not working.
Awesome.
Angela, that sounds like just a field trip
I know.
that the Ham family
Yes.
you get to go on with the kiddo.
Basically, it's like one extended field trip, which I'm all for. In school, that was my favorite part of school.
Mhm.
That's great. Homeschooling, you can do so many, non-conventional ways of learning, getting out and just experiencing life, I think is so cool for kids that you get the opportunity to do that.
Yes.
Now, you have held so many different roles. You are the public relationships manager, you've been an area director, president, VPE, everything. What is your favorite position that you've held and why?
That is a wonderful question. My favorite role actually has been president, and that was the role that I held last year in my club. And I'm not just saying that just because I'm on here, but it truly was. And when I think about my time with my club, how I was able to reach out really and connect with the members, and even members that began at the club but couldn't stay for personal reasons or other reasons, I stayed in touch with them. And just being able to follow up with them and to keep in touch with the members. I was also a mentor to several of our members in the club as well. And just the behind the scenes of really doing life with them and getting to know more about their journey, their families, that for me was the best, because I'm a people person. Even though I'm introverted, I like to connect one-on-one, and it was the best opportunity for me.
I think that's so funny. The amount of introverts that I've met in Toastmasters that I just think are the most outgoing, just public speaking comes naturally. You just seem like this is your thing. And I just think that's great to hear that from so many other people, because you're just facing your fears, and it's such a brave thing for all of us to do.
Yeah. Well, it's not so much that public speaking is a fear. I actually, on one of our field trips today, we went to a botanical garden. We're here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we ran into another homeschooling group. And I spoke to one of the moms about being an introvert versus an extrovert. And it's really all about energy management.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I'm an introvert, it takes a lot for me to put out a lot of energy. I can do it. I'll be way up here with all the other extroverts. But when I go home, I just want peace and quiet. I'll sit and I'll read a book or watch TV. I just really need to rest and recharge for longer periods of time than an extrovert might. An extrovert will gain their energy from others that they're around, and they can stay in the moment a lot more easily than probably an introvert can.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Now, you just said, I was going to ask you a question about taking your leadership role to a higher level, but you just said you just did this presidency last year, and now you're the public relationships manager. So what helped you make that jump? When did you know, or what made you do that?
Honestly, it was not on my radar. And at the end of the year, which was back in the spring of this year, April May, June timeframe, I received an email from our district director and said, hey, your name was given to me as someone who would possibly do a good job in the public relations role. And the previous PRM, who's actually my club president, I spoke with him about it. I got his feedback, and I really took some time to think about how it could fit into my life and if it was something that I was truly interested in. And given my background, I went to Performing Arts High School. I have a background in art. I was a photographer at one point in my life. All these things that I've done, really, this role is like a culmination of those things. So it was almost a no-brainer. And I always figure if the opportunity is coming to you, then it's for a reason. So why would I say no? Even though I may have been afraid or scared or didn't think that I could do it, it's here for a reason. Let me take the opportunity, get out of my comfort zone and do it. So I'm here.
Definitely. Been there, Althea. I remember a similar email about this podcast. Do you have any questions you'd like to ask Ms. Deborah Ham?
Yeah, so I have the pleasure of being a member of shout out Reynoldsburg Toastmasters with Deborah. And I get a front seat view to seeing her really shine as a leader and just her love for people in general, just her love for people in general. And I feel that. And I'm really excited to see you in this role, Deborah, because I feel like it's going to give you another opportunity to grow and develop and really pull from all of those previous experiences to really make this role the best role it could be. So I'm really excited to see you in this space, and I can't wait to see what other fun things you have coming forward for our district. So with that in mind, I'm just kind of curious to know from you, like, what is our public relations strategy for the district this year?
The public relations strategy for the district this year really is to keep it simple. Like I mentioned last year, that's my junior Toastmaster. You'll see him pop up from time to time, even when we're in meetings. It's really to let the people know that we care about them. And one thing that I implemented last year in our club was I ended each and every meeting with a statement of "you matter." And because I truly meant that, they didn't have to take the time to be there. This is a volunteer organization, and you're taking time away from your family and just doing this because you want to learn. I appreciate you being here. So I want to extend that to the district, of course, with getting our name out there and hoping to invite more new people to join and seeing how many new faces we can bring into the district and into our clubs. But that's really the biggest thing, is to let our members know that they matter, that we care about them. And when that is extended to all of us, it has a ripple effect, because then others will start to show that they care. And then how can you not, I guess, also engage with that energy if you meet someone outside who you're like, oh, let me tell you about Toastmasters. They really do care about me. What? It matters. So
yeah, I agree with the ripple effect. It just takes one little droplet and it's going to create this wave, if you will, of just excitement, or just a re-energizing is what the word I was looking for. And that's what we're looking forward to. Well, especially me. I won't speak for everyone else, but I'm looking forward to that within the district. I do have another question before I turn things over to Sydney to see if he had any questions for you. So, all of us, majority of us joined Toastmasters to improve our public speaking and leadership. And I'm just curious to know from you, Deborah, who is your biggest public speaking inspiration? It can be someone who is alive and with us or someone who has gone on, but who is your inspiration when it comes to public speaking?
that is a wonderful question. And, honestly, I have not taken the time to consider it. But thinking about it now in this moment, actually, it's my club members. And I'm not just saying that because I've seen how they've grown. I get to hear their stories. And again, about doing life together. When you're in Toastmasters, you actually become like a family. And not to mention, my sisters are in my club too. So that's like an added bonus. But hearing the stories of others and just seeing how they grow, others actually are my inspiration, seeing how they go from maybe being shy and then coming into their own and finding their voice and just doing more and becoming more comfortable with what they have to say and what they have to share. That's my inspiration.
I love that. Shout out again to Reynoldsburg Toastmasters. All right, Sydney, do you have any questions for Deborah?
Indeed, I do, Althea. Madam Public Relations Manager.
Oh, wait a minute. Is he putting out some good vibes there for the next position, maybe?
That there is a gobsmacking statement. So I can neither confirm nor deny that. We'll see what the spring and the next year hold.
I love
Well,
it.
as that was actually a speako as opposed to a typo, but considering that, as you've served as the PRM for District 40 this year, and I imagine you're still getting your sea legs in the role, you're getting used to it. But I always like to ask like a two-pronged question: does it bring you joy? What, if so, why? And how has it helped other areas of your life to serve as District 40's public relations manager?
Currently, I would say it does bring me joy. I am still getting my sea legs, and it went from being kind of smooth sailing to almost rough waters. But things are starting to calm down as I'm learning the lay of the land and getting my rhythm for things. And it's added to other areas in my life because it helps me to be creative again. Believe it or not, I am very creative. And once I started homeschooling, although that leaves much room for being creative, having my own little bubble of creativity is what I enjoy. So this helps me to be creative in ways that I kind of put to the side previously, but I can bring those skills back around.
Well, thank you for that.
Welcome.
I'm probably creative enough to maybe write my name on a piece of paper correctly once or twice a year, but for the most part, I get lots of comments for how, like, can I read this? Can I read this? Well, just let me type it out. It'll be fine. But I'm going to pass it on to someone who's a little more creative than I am. Lamar, do you have any questions for our esteemed guest?
Thank you, Sydney. I appreciate that. And I do have a question for our esteemed guest and Madam D40 Pro Public Relations Manager. You've told us how you travel with your family. You told us how your work, what you did for college, what you graduated, the degree, all of these things translate into what you get a chance to do. So my question, because I get often, Deborah, that Toastmasters is something in addition. And the way I've come to learn and see Toastmasters is it's everything all inclusive, meaning the things that we get a chance to do when we come here, to even being on this podcast, being a part of our club, even meeting outside of our club when we're getting to know each other. For me, it's all inclusive. It's not something to do in addition. So I would love to learn more about how you integrate your experience throughout Toastmasters with your work, family, community, and any other area that you would like to share.
Thank you for that question, Lamar. And you're seeing it live in color, in action. This is how I integrate it. I definitely make the time for it. And you're right, it's not either or, it's both and. I put it on my schedule and I started laughing when you asked the question because as I mentioned, my sisters are also in my club and we travel together as a family as well. And one of the running jokes is, are we getting on Toastmasters? And typically it's like a no-brainer. We will make time on our family vacation to take our Toastmasters meeting. It's a non-negotiable. Unless we just can't make it, like on our last trip, we had a health incident and we couldn't make it. But if nothing keeps us from being here, we will definitely be here. It's definitely become a part of our life. Again, I said, I've heard the stories of how Toastmasters, and I've seen firsthand of how it has affected others. My sister, for example, she was going to go back to school to get a degree. And when I heard that she was going to do this, I said, Toastmasters would be the perfect match for this. Why don't you try it out and see how it goes? And lo and behold, it's worked for her. I believe she's gotten promoted twice, and it saved her lots and lots of money, but she's getting real-time experience firsthand, and she's still here. She loves it. So it's, I don't know, it's one of those things that you like pass along. It's in the family and you just kind of pass it along to the next person and to the next generation because it is that important. Communication really is the foundation of all relationships. And if you cannot communicate clearly, then how can you expect others to follow along with what you're saying or expect to not be upset when no one understands you? So it's very much a part of our lives.
I love that. And even pointing to your son and saying a future Toastmaster. So apropos. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to yield the floor back over to Angela for any final comments. You're on mute, my friend. Like we have not heard that before.
No, not me. Dang it. I was just saying it's so great to hear that it's a family affair for you. I just think that it's awesome to pass that along. And I'm part of a corporate club, so a lot of the members have felt like family. We've made so many good relationships. And I would have never, that's not what I joined for, but that's definitely the best part by far, I think, for me. So it was great getting to know you, and thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed my time here, and I look forward to the opportunity to do it again.
Yes, thank you. Have a good one, Deborah.
Good night, you all.
Bye.
Night, Deborah.
Hey, Althea, I'll hand it back over to you for what we've learned.
All right, thank you so much. Right, the next segment is, like Angela mentioned, what have we learned? And this is just an opportunity for all of us to share something that we've learned. It could be in the space of Toastmasters, it could be in the space of real life. It's just an opportunity for us to share something that we've learned with you all. And we'll kick things off with Lamar. Share with us what you've learned, Lamar.
Absolutely, Althea. I will be glad to share what I have learned. You know, much like our D40 public relations manager, Deborah Helm, I have found Toastmasters something that I can integrate into my everyday life. And I made mention about how I see it as now is something that is a part of my life goal. And so what I want to do today is show you how I have been able to incorporate Toastmasters as a professional goal of mine. And so when I start at the end of the year, I sit down, get quiet, and I utilize this formula here. So I know we're getting close to the end of the year, and a lot of people may be starting to think about setting their goals and having some different ideas of how they're going to go about achieving those goals. Well, if I were to ask you all, what is 10 times 374? What would you tell me? It would make you think about it, right? But if I gave you some time, could you figure out the formula and write it down to get the exact answer? Could you all do that?
Yes.
And that is simply what this is here. It's a way to how you can achieve your goals in a formula. Again, this comes from Zig Ziglar. And so the first thing, there's 7 different steps. As you can see, that's here. So the first thing is you want to state your goal clearly. what is your goal? And then after you set your goal, you have to give yourself a deadline. If you know how we are. We set a goal, but we don't have a deadline around when we're going to meet that goal. So this helps us hold ourselves accountable with actually meeting that goal. The next thing is, what are those obstacles that could get in the way from you achieving your goal? So you want to be able to clearly state what those obstacles are, and you want to be realistic about what that is so that you're not fooling yourself when it comes to you reaching your own goal. The next thing you want to look at is, who are the people that can hold you accountable? Who are these groups? Who are these organizations that currently exist? And then you want to be able to share your goal with them so that they can come alongside you to help you to reach your goal. After that, because it's so important that we're just not having a goal just to have it, but what's the reason behind it? So you want to list the benefits of you actually achieving your goal to really help yourself to propel yourself to go forward. The last thing or a couple things you want to do is you want to list the skills that you need to obtain or you need to attain to actually reach your goal. And so really sitting down with yourself, really processing that to really understand what are those exact skills that you're going to need. And then lastly, create a plan. So being able to sit down and walk through each step is going to be a great formula for you to implement coming into this new year in terms of you being able to reach your goal. So here is a formula that you can use. And for me, I use it within Toastmasters. Also use it concerning my health. I use it concerning my spiritual life. I use it lastly concerning my professional life. Well, I'm sorry, my personal life. So those are the four areas that I focus on: professional, personal, spiritual, and health. And you can utilize this within any category of how you want to see yourself grow within this next coming year. So that is the 7-step formula that I want to be able to share with you all, and hopefully you all can utilize this to continue to grow and excel in this coming year. So back over to you, Althea.
It's blown my mind, Lamar, when you actually said the words that were coming up toward the end of the year, and you think about people planning for the upcoming year, like New Year's resolutions, things of that nature. It just blows my mind to realize that we're at the end of the year.
I
But
know.
yeah, but that's a great tool that you shared with us. So thank you for sharing that. So start your goal, create some time, get some accountability partners, make a plan and stick to it. And that can translate, like you said, through any aspect of your life, whether it be professional, personal, health-wise, even in Toastmasters, as you're progressing through your pathways and helping your club achieve their DCP points. So thank you so much for sharing that. Angela, what about you? Share with us what you've learned.
So something that's been on my mind, I was going back and forth on what section I wanted to talk about this on, is a lot to do with so after we had Tracy Baker on last month, I engaged him to actually come and speak at our club. And we've been talking about doing an open house. So all of a sudden, we're doing this open house where we're inviting guests. And it's prompted a lot of other situations. Last month, I think we talked a little bit about, we were getting ready to do this lip sync thing at my company, which was in front of the whole company, and we won. Our Toastmasters group won, and it was great. But we had all of our members out there with posters that said join Toastmasters and stuff. So I just think, as far as something that I've been learning over the past month, is just we need to keep in mind how to engage everybody to try and bring in new members and get together as a group and think outside ourselves and just bring new people in and show them what the benefit is of doing that. And I just think that there's a lot of planning that goes into that, and it's just something that as officers or active members that we need to keep in the forefront of our minds and keep thinking of new ideas to get out in front of other people and bring them in. So that's just what I've been thinking about a lot that I've been taking in this month. So I guess back to you, Althea, or Sydney, did you have something to share?
Yes, Angela, I think I do. It very much dovetails with what Lamar said. I'll share my screen here real quick to show you something real quick. It's nothing much. It's just a picture of a cute little bunny rabbit. But it's the idea of pacing yourself, especially as we're ramping up a new program year or winding down the old program year. Different life goals, different seasons of life, these things will change regularly. And I would dare say that when you're setting goals, you have to have, after you've done Lamar's Zig Ziglar method, and you can use a methodology where you understand the pacing you must use. There's various odds and ends. This is just a cool article I found on Messy Marvelous's website that deals with ideas behind pacing, such as creating the plan, as Lamar said, valuing rest time, requiring focus, pacing yourself as methodical. It has lots, it means letting go of the things that are minors, major in the majors. Don't be a perfectionist. Leave room for error or some wiggle room, as we say in my industry. Allow yourself small intermittent rewards. Get those small wins, be it in your career or other areas. And though it doesn't really say it here, I dare say that pacing yourself sometimes even means tabling certain goals. Only because, unlike what I wish I had had the same fortitude that Eb had, and I'm gobsmacked that I didn't. But the reality is, when I was so knee deep in the grad school, I let my Toastmaster speeches not be as common the last 6 months or so. And now that I'm winding that up, I'm going to be reassessing that goal. I might just try the Zig Ziglar method. And sometimes there are goals that just get sidelined like that, and or goals that you've been wanting to tackle. There are those tasks that you just simply can't let go. Like you have to meal prep and plan the things you eat, or you just forget, or you just wind up getting takeout every time, which gets expensive. Or if you don't spend time with your family, then those relationships grow stale. So pacing yourself in all stages of life and knowing when to table something and when to keep something pull back the throttle a little, but keep it going, or when to push the throttle full out and smash a goal. These things are all very important, I think. And with that, I will turn it back over to you, Angela.
Well, I'll take it.
All right.
I love how we don't beforehand talk about what we're going to cover in these segments. I always love how they kind of all play into each other with, creating a plan or setting your own pace and being creative with how you spread the news about Toastmasters or inviting people to Toastmasters. The one thing I wanted to talk about, it's not a new concept, but it's just a reminder. There's this saying, and there's actually a book written by Dr. Susan Jeffers. It's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Right? And Angela, I believe during Deborah's interview, she mentioned that, like feeling the fear, but still doing it. And I believe that's a testament as to why we are here as members of this public speaking organization. There was a part of us that we identified as a fear, whether it be leadership or communication, public speaking. And someone told us about this organization that's going to help you conquer your fear. It's going to help you build your confidence. You're going to be able to meet and network with an array of people from all over the world. And guess what? You face your fear. You paid your membership dues and you joined Toastmasters. And guess what? You kept coming back. You gave speeches. You volunteered for leadership roles within your club. or even within the district. You're mentoring people. And all of these things help to build that confidence. So that thing that you feared so much in the beginning, it's now in your rear view mirror. And you look
Hmm.
at how you've been able to progress and build your confidence and your charisma in this space called Toastmasters. And I don't know about you, but I'm glad that I joined Toastmasters because it really helped me to build that confidence. And I love keeping that momentum going. Deborah also mentioned too, um, it slipped my mind, so I apologize about that. I just get really excited when I talk about facing fears. And that's in any area and space of your life. Whether we want to travel, but you're not sure what's out there in the world. Don't let that hold you back because we all deal with fear. We all have areas in our life where we face fears, we are questioning different things, we question ourselves and our ability, and that's like the worst thing that you can do because you have the skill, you have the know-how, you just have to believe in yourself enough to do it. So some of the things that I wanted to share with you all when it comes to feeling the fear and doing it anyway, that fear will never go away. So you're going to have to face it. It's not going to go away. It's going to be that little thing in the corner that's going to torment you until you decide that you're going to face it head on. And everyone else is going to feel the fear too. Our fears are not the same. I have a fear of spiders, whereas maybe Lamar might be okay with spiders, but he's afraid of dogs. Well, Angela loves dogs. So, right? So, our fears are all going to be different, but just understand everyone has a fear of some sort. And you facing the fear is going to create a new opportunity. It's going to create your next Toastmasters story, that next speech, that winning speech, maybe in a speech contest. So I just want to encourage everyone, no matter what it is, if you want to start your own podcast, you want to start your own business, you're nervous about kind of stepping out and doing your own, just understand, realize that you have the skills, the know-how, the ability, and the confidence to do it. The only person that's standing in your way is you. So kindly step out of your way, feel the fear, and do it anyway. So that was just the one thing I wanted to share with you all today.
Mhm.
So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn
Mhm.
things over. I believe, Sydney, you're up next with the news, or is it Lamar?
That would be me, Althea. Thank you so much for
I
that.
thought so. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that amazing share. Our next segment is called News You Can Use. Essentially, it's goings on either currently in Toastmasters or just at large that the group here, my lovely co host and I, would love to share with you about things to keep in mind for either for the program year in Toastmasters or just in general. And with that, I will turn it over to Lamar, who will share his piece. Lamar.
Thank you, Sydney. I appreciate that. Well, like you, Althea, I am gobsmacked that we are close to the end of the year. I mean, literally, in just 7 days or so, we'll be into October, and then we'll have 2 more months left before it is 2025. So this is a unique opportunity for us to face our fears. And what I would love to bring up is news that we all can use is Club Dues Are Due. And that is as of October 1st. So now is a great opportunity for you all to go online and to get your membership updated. This is a unique opportunity. We see the benefit. We understand we're feeling the growth. Let us keep the train rolling. So, what I want to do is encourage you all to reach out to your club treasurer and to let them know, hey, listen, I don't want to put it off any longer. I want to go ahead and get my dues signed up. I want to get squared away. Now, here's the unique opportunity that I wanted to share with you all. Maybe something that you haven't explored. Maybe talk with your employer. Say, I'm really looking to develop myself my language, my communication to become more an effective leader. And I really believe and see Toastmasters helping me to be able to do that because I'm going to have more value that's going to be added to me, which is going to add value to this company. So if you don't mind, go ahead and cut the check for my experience to be in Toastmasters. That's one way. If you're like me, you're a business owner. You can use this as a tax write-off. So those are two unique ways of how you can go about doing that. Maybe you say another way is you have a birthday coming up and you say, hey, this is my birthday gift that you want your family to contribute to, your family and friends to contribute to, is your overall personal, professional development. So this is news that you all can use to continue to further your Toastmasters journey. So again, don't wait, don't put it off any longer. Do it now. Go sign up to get back into the rhythm of what we're doing here, which is building ourselves up through this Toastmasters journey. So, news you can use. So, now I am going to turn things over to Angela and would love to hear some of the news that we all can use.
Thanks, Lamar. That was great. I do have something that I want to kind of piggyback on some dues, but first I wanted to say some great news and some shout outs to our Hall of Fame members for the past year and my fellow Toast to Broadway Area Director of the Year, Deshaun Ramey. You rock, you deserve it. There's a bunch of other people out there that are amazing and names that we know, but you know, I got to shout him out because he's my fellow Toasty. So, but something I found on Toastmasters this past week was something called Public Speaking Fast Track. It's on Toastmasters. You can go to courses. It's $5. And if you have a big presentation coming up or a big, something big in your life, it says like wedding speeches or anything. It's kind of a fast track course. You do an assessment, you do some recordings of yourself, and there's some instructional videos that you take, and then you kind of reassess your skills and just keep honing them in. And it's just $5, gets you prepared for that big upcoming event you have. And I just thought that was kind of a cool thing. It's even, I believe it's available to non-members, but I want to put the link in the comments, but it just seemed like such a great opportunity for anybody, for one, actually somebody outside of Toastmasters having something they have to prepare for and then might lead them to Toastmasters, but then also just something to help us hone our skills. So I thought that was some great information, and I'll share that, but it just helps you gain that confidence and hone your skills. And it's called Public Speaking Fast Track when you go to Toastmasters. So how about you, Sydney? What do you think?
I think it's a wonderful idea. I feel like with Toastmasters, there's these little advertised and little known kits, such as that thing. I think I remember finding that once a year or two ago. And there's even this cool little thing like a speechcraft, which while it's primarily designed for use in the speechcraft project that you usually use to fulfill your DTM, you can also use it for a personal, like just any group you have who wants to learn the basics of public speaking. So I feel either tool could be good for that. And speaking of things that are useful, we have a concept in Toastmasters called, let's see here, get this to work. We have a concept called club mentoring and clubs coaching. If you are in a club that wishes to either enhance your overall presence in your local community, and especially if you have 8 members or less, and you want to keep the renewal process going, for example, going back to Lamar's news, every if a club for a club to stay in good standing in Toastmasters, they have to have 8 dues paying members by the end of September, and by the end of March, depending on which part of the program year we're in. For those that aren't quite able to make it but want to keep their club going strong, club mentoring or club coaching can be the way to go. Toastmasters International's main website has it here under the Leadership Central piece, which has all kinds of FAQs, club coach agreements, good general information if you want to look into either serving as a club coach or mentor or serving or being served by one for your local club. And if you think that your club can benefit from it, feel free to reach out to one of your club officers or your area director or any other district officer. And if you go to District 40's website and click on the club growth or tab, you'll also find the team for the local District 40's club growth team. Renee Mitchell, Judy Kinney, Sarah Sturgeon, Mike Pope, all wonderful folks. And if you click on this little button here for club sponsor, mentor, and coach information, it will show you a little more information about the process about serving as those things. And if you want to say become a club coach, you can click on this little button here for even more information that will pull up a little thing that lets you be or basically sign to become a club coach or express interest. And if you ever have any questions, any of the wonderful folks of District 40 can help you, but particularly Renee Mitchell or any of her team. And with that, I will pass it back to Althea.
Thank you, Sydney. I love the fact that we're walking people through how to navigate to those different spaces on the website. I'm not sure if any of you have had a lot of experience on navigating the website. Sometimes information can be buried. So I'm happy that we're able to walk folks through where to find information both on our district website as well as the international website. My news hopefully is not new news to all of you. But coming in a couple of weeks, Base Camp is going to be unavailable because Toastmasters International will be launching a new learning management system, also known as LMS. And in order for them to launch it, they have to bring down Base Camp just for about 2 weeks. So starting October 9th and to about October 25th, the Base Camp will not be available. And the LMS will be launched for 6, well, not new, but 6 updated levels. And I wanted to share that with you, or path, excuse me. That would be the dynamic leadership path, engaging humor, motivational strategies, presentation mastery, persuasive influence, and visionary communication. So for any of you that are currently working any of those 6 paths, you want to make sure that you're still doing your path projects. So if you can prepare in advance by either, I'm not sure if you're able to print anymore, but you're able to view all of your presentation slides and get your project assignment ready, work with your VP of education to ensure that you're still giving your speeches during that time and you're keeping track of all of those levels and electives that you're completing if any of those paths you're working on won't be available in Base Camp. So we're really excited to see what's to come with the new LMS and these paths that will be updated in the LMS. We do have some pretty incredible people within our district, our Pathways chairs, Lisa Lee and Mary Gray. Those 2 women are phenomenal. And if you are in need of having them come and provide any presentations to your clubs to give you all the updates on everything Pathways and what your club can expect, they're a great resource. So I would strongly encourage you to reach out to them if you'd like for them to come and do a presentation for your teams or for your clubs, excuse me. I think that'll be a great opportunity. So again, Base Camp is going to be unavailable for about 2 weeks, starting October 9th through the 25th. And when the system comes back up, you'll see that the new LMS is going to launch 6 paths. Again, these are existing paths, but they'll have the updates based on the new LMS. And again, those are dynamic leadership, engaging humor, motivational strategies, presentation mastery, persuasive influence, and visionary communication. So again, check out the newsletter. There's information in there. You can also go to toastmasters.org, click on education programs and pathways, and all of the most up-to-date information regarding pathways is there for your reading pleasure. And with that, I'll go ahead and turn things over to Lamar to cover our last segment of the episode.
One of the segments that you all been waiting for. You have been waiting for the evaluation segment because you know this is where growth happens. Have you ever been in an interview and after the interview, you don't hear anything back? You don't know how well you did? Crickets. Not here in Toastmasters. You're going to get feedback when you give a speech, when you take on a role, in all levels. So I'm really excited to bring to you all today a speech that I believe is going to add a lot of value to our lives, and one that we can get feedback to learn more for us to give an evaluation. So I'm going to share my screen now so you all can see it and be able to follow along. So it's not a long speech, roughly 7 minutes, but I believe definitely is going to be really impactful. So here we go.
And I'd like you to look me in the eye now. Took me 19 years to figure this thing out now, folks. If you understand what I'm fixing to tell you, this is going to save you thousands and thousands of hours of agony. This could make you hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm going to give you my entire management philosophy, folks, that I developed over 19 years in one sentence. I'm going to boil everything down in one sentence. If you understand this one sentence, you're guaranteed to be wealthy. I was in Philadelphia 3 weeks ago during this super seminar with 10,000 termites, just like it's in this arena here. Yeah, in Philadelphia, this is the 200th year celebration of signing our Constitution. Everybody's flooding in. It's a fun place to go right now. And on every corner in Philadelphia, you know, they've got statues of George Washington and Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson, and they got all these famous sayings of all these great American heroes. But you know what? There's probably never been a human being on the face of this earth that's ever said anything as smart as I'm fixing to tell you. Listen. Folks, this is the answer, the total answer to being successful in business. This is the management philosophy that will make you a superstar in business. Can you believe that an old football coach with a PE degree and an average IQ could think of something so brilliant? Now listen, think about this, folks. Think about this. How many pieces of flesh have lived on this earth? Nobody knows, right? But do you know, as much as I can determine, I am the single human being that's lived on this earth that said this first. Hey, listen. There's probably never been a more brilliant statement uttered from the lips of a human being than what I'm fixing to tell you. Hey, now listen. Now listen. Probably one day you're going to see a monument to Art Williams. And it's going to have this dadgum statement on it. Hey, folks, do you understand what I'm telling you? I'm telling you a management philosophy in one sentence that guarantees you to be a superstar in business. Hey, listen. Do you know Benjamin Franklin ain't ever said nothing compared to what I'm fixing to tell you today in Chicago? Listen, you're gonna miss it. This is pure genius. Folks, this is all there is wrapped up in one sentence. 9 words. Guaranteed to make you wealthy. You ready? Gonna save you thousands and thousands of hours of agony and frustration. Are you ready? All right, here it is. Here it is. My entire management philosophy. Listen, the whole ball game, guaranteed to make you a superstar. Here it is. All you can do is all you can do. Hey! Hey! Is that brilliant? Listen. Now listen. Is that brilliant? Okay, listen. Is that unbelievable? Okay, listen. Now listen. All right, listen. Now listen. All right, hold on. Listen. All right, listen. All right, hold up. Now listen. Hold up now. Hold up. All right, hold on. All right, listen. All right, listen. All right, listen now, folks. I'm fixing to give it to you. Now listen. Most important thing you'll ever hear in business in America today now. All you can do is all you can do. There ain't nothing more than all you can do. That is the absolute maximum. You can't do no more than all you can do. You understand that? All you can do is all you can do. All you can do is everything. That's the absolute ultimate. Right? But the second part of that saying is all you can do is all you can do, but all you can do is enough.
All right, folks. What you laughing for, Althea?
I'm like, if you don't spit it out, sir,
Hey.
have me on the edge of my seat. Like, what is it?
Absolutely. So yes, please, Althea, while we're here, why don't you kick us off with your evaluation?
It seemed very simple, but like there's a lot of comedic know-how woven into his speech. He played on the emotions of the big audience that was in there and got people on the edge of their seat. He had me on the edge of my seat waiting for this management philosophy that's going to make you millions. Who wouldn't want to make millions? And if he had the key or the recipe to that, I want to hear it. When he finally said it, it was like, wow, I'm like, really, this is what I waited for? But then you start thinking like, all I can do is all I can do. And quickly the message behind it's settled in for me. So I appreciate the message. It took him a very long time to get the crowd to settle down so he can finish his point, which reminded me of one of my level projects where it challenges the speaker to navigate disruptions as you're giving a speech. So as I'm sitting here watching him trying to, calm down the audience so he can make his final points, like that disruption kept going on for a long time. So if I had to give him any points of growth would be to try to employ some of those strategies that we learned from that pathway project to mitigate and minimize disruptions during your speaking time. But outside of that, I laughed. I thought it was hilarious. I'm curious, Sydney, what you thought of the speech.
Kind of made me think of one of either Jeff Foxworthy or Larry the Cable Guy's sketches. It's a bit of the opposite effect though, because when Larry the Cable Guy walks on stage, what's the one you kind of expect him to have his hook like "Get her done." You expect to hear that sentence at some point in his in his shows, usually at the beginning and the end. I, and one thing that kind of made me think of him is also if you live south of the old Mason Dixon line, or just south of Ohio, really, you pretty much are considered Southern. And I don't know this guy's background, but he had that kind of Southern-ish way of talking, where he was using plain, simple, everyday English, drawing you in, trying to give you a nugget of wisdom. But he also came off as that I wouldn't say that senile old uncle, but he came off as that guy who draws you in to say, "Hey, listen to me, boy." Like Foghorn Leghorn, like boy's about as sharp as a bowling ball. Boy so dumb he thinks Mexican boy pays rent. Like he won't get to his point, but in this case it's intentional. And he uses occasional ahs and ums, but again, I think given the flavor of his practiced speech, it's probably good because you saw the effect on the audience. It was practically a standing ovation, although the frame rate was a little low, but I'm guessing I could hear like a cacophony of noise, and you could tell his audience was rather gobsmacked by the whole message. Now, maybe he continued on his point later and drew out a bit more, but the hook he gave at the beginning was quite good, so I thought that was pretty cool, pretty cool and awesome. Well, Mara, what'd you think?
Yeah, I think everything that you all have said really covered this evaluation. Yes, Sydney, when we look at Toastmasters, the filler words or the words that Art Williams was using would be rung up to say, hey, here's a lot of words that in language that you use that would be in a Toastmasters world. What fit in there fixing, I'm fixing to tell you, and at the same time, like you're saying, Sydney, this was spoke to the heartstrings of his audience, which helps me further know that he knew his audience through and through. He knew how to toy with them, like you were saying, Althea, with dragging on his business philosophy that has made him wealthy. And like you were saying, Althea, is simple. But then when you think about it, is very it's simple to do, but then it's simple not to remember, or simple to get off track or distracted from remembering, hey, no, all I can do, did I do all that I can do in this moment? And was all that I did, was it enough? And if it was, then I can rest and settle in that. So for me, I wouldn't have any points to grow, maybe having a towel. I noticed he was sweating there and it was kind of uncomfortable for him in terms of the sweat But I would say just having a towel, maybe he can have a little bit a relief, if you will. But no, I felt like because of his audience, he spoke to what they needed, which was a strength of his. So, Angela, bring us home on how our friend Art Williams did on this presentation.
Well, as someone who is south of Ohio, slightly, I could have swore this guy was from Kentucky. The fixin' to daggum sentence, like I thought it like sentencing someone to 25 to life instead of sentence, but it obviously played to his audience, so you can't even knock him on the grammar. The only thing that I think he did some weird mouth movements sometimes. That was a little distracting to me, but that's the only thing. His pauses were great. He played to his audience, his gestures, the build up, maybe a few too many listens, but it just got him more riled up. So whatever. It was great, but yeah, he's definitely got kin in Kentucky somewhere. I think he said, what did I say? Instead of guaranteed, he said like guaranteed one time or something. It was hilarious. But yeah, fixing to is just close to home, and obviously close to home to a lot of those people there. So great speech, hilarious, and just it set this whole thing off. Great job.
Awesome sauce. Well, that concludes our evaluation portion. And I know we are wrapping up, so I want to turn things back over to Althea to bring us on home.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Another great episode. Again, special shout out to Deborah Ham, our District 40 Public Relations Manager. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Sydney, Angela, Lamar, you guys are phenomenal. Thank you so much. And thank you, District 40 and friends, for joining us on our September episode. Be sure to come back next month on the fourth Tuesday at 7 p.m. for our next episode. And with that, we bid you farewell. Until next time, have a good night.
Guys.
Peace, everyone. Thanks for joining us.